So today's topic is simple or continuous, and we are going to deal with something we have not dealt with before, tense and aspect. If we are talking about tense, we are talking about future, present or past, and that's fairly easy to comprehend. However, that's not the whole story. There is something called aspect. An aspect is in a way the way a situation unfolds. Is it something simple, something that happens once or that is true all the time? Is it something that's in progress, continuous? Is it something that's finished, perfect? Or something that's a mixture of both, the present, perfect, continuous? But today we are only going to look at the first two, the simple and continuous. So simple and continuous. What, how, and when? There are some example sentences here. We have Wonder Woman who is waiting at the doctor's office. The door opens and the nurse yells, "Next!" The Wonder Woman lays down and says, "I have a horrible headache all the time." And here we see that simple is used when something happens at once. It's instantaneous. For example, when the nurse opens the door and yells, it only happens once. Or something that is always true. She has headache all the time. While continuous is something that's used when something is happening over time. She is waiting. She is sitting there for a while. So what is the problem here? Well, the main problem is that Norwegian does not have a progressive aspect. When we say in English she bakes, we can translate it as hun baker. When we say she is baking, we can also translate it as hun baker. However, she bakes and she is baking is not the same thing, and they are used differently. So students whose language is Norwegian very often either overuse or underuse the progressive in English because they do not have an equivalent of this in their native language. Norwegian can mark progressiveness or continuousness, but it is not obligatory. So we can of course say hun står og baker, hun driver og baker, hun holder på å bake, and many other dialectal varieties. But we can just as well say just hun baker, and it will mean she is baking. So continuous or progressive is made by the helping verb be and ing, and you of course know this. We use the continuous for incomplete or ongoing situations, such as Peter is watching TV, or when something is in progress when something else happens. For example, I hate it when the phone rings while I am taking the bath. So she is taking a bath, that takes some time, and the phone rings right in the middle of it. Here there are some sentences to show you the difference between simple and continuous, because it really makes a difference in meaning. Lucy bakes means that it's a permanent occupation. She bakes for living, or it's her hobby, habit, and so on. It happens all the time. While Lucy is baking means that it is a situation in progress right now. She's baking right now. The sun sets in the west, eternal truth, happens all the time. After 6 months of daylight, the sun is setting at the South Pole Station. It is situation in progress. We are commenting something that's happening right now. John lives in London permanently, or John is living in London at the moment or temporarily. When Mary came back, they played cards. These are sequences of two events. One happened and finished, and then the next one started. Or when Mary came back, they were playing cards. It was a situation in progress, interrupted by something else. When Mary entered the door, someone else was already playing cards. So this can happen in the present, past, and future. It is very flexible. So in the present, we take be in present, which would be I am, you are, he is, and so on, and ing. He is painting the fence. I like to watch him when he is painting the fence. It's something that's happening at the moment of speaking. But we can go to the past. We put be in past. We use was or were, depending on what the subject is, and ing. He was painting the fence whole day yesterday. It was a long ongoing activity. Or he was painting the fence when I arrived. My arrival interrupted the activity of him painting the fence. And we can also talk about future. We learned that we make future by putting will in front of the verb, so we use will be plus ing. He will be painting the fence tomorrow as well. He's not done yet, and it will take whole day tomorrow. Or he will be painting the fence by the time I get home. I told him to, and I believe he already will have started by the time I get home. But there are some cases when continuous is not possible. To every rule there are exceptions, and in this case, there are some verbs that do not normally take progressive. These are called stative verbs because they describe a mental or physical state. So for example, we can say, I believe he is right, but we cannot say, I am believing, even though it's happening at this moment, because it's a state of mind. The car belongs to John. We cannot say, it is belonging. The board consists of 5 members, not it is consisting. 2 and 2 make 4, not are making. And my mother really loves me, not she is loving me. These stative verbs just behave this way. They do not take progressive. And some of you might know the slogan from McDonald's, I am loving it. And this kind of denies what I just said, but this is just an example of creativity in language. McDonald's makes a feeling sound as if it was an activity. They are playing with the words, they are breaking some grammar rules to make an effective commercial. And some verbs can change meaning. They can be used both as active and as stative verbs. For example, I have 2 siblings. It basically means own, or I am in the disposition of. It is a permanent state. It is always true. While if I say we are having a party tonight, it's in a way have as an experience, enjoying of something. And this is temporary, and that's why I can use progressive. We are planning a party, we are having a party tonight.